Excuse me, America, do we have our head that far buried in the sand that we are depending on the electoral system now? The electoral system brought us the Obamacare nightmare scare. I do not like this healthcare scam. I do not like it, Sam I am. I do not like the fact that to pass it, Nancy Pelosi said you have to pass it to see what's in it. It was never read, and now it's the law of the land. However, it circumvents the Constitution, which is the original law of the land. I say we invoke our 10th Amendment to nullify
one restaurant to have a second restaurant. If you have one shop to open up a second shop. The flaws in this law are not only that it reduces choices for consumers, but it's reducing the choices that people in this country have for jobs, which is wrong. But I think the best critic that we've seen of the law actually came from President Obama's supporters. And that's the Teamsters Union, the United Food and Commercial Workers International Union, and Unite Here. They recently wrote the president and said, "We can no longer stand silent in the face of elements of the Affordable Care Act that will destroy the very health and well-being of our members, along with millions of other hardworking Americans." They've also expressed concerns that this law will destroy the 40-hour work week. As Senator Cornyn from Texas said, as Republicans, we are united in repealing this law. We are united in wanting to defund this law and wanting to make sure that we can replace this law with common sense reforms that drive down health costs, increase competition for insurance companies, and give people more choice while making sure that we do not interfere with the doctor-patient relationship. That if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, which we are now seeing is not true, unfortunately, under Obamacare. And I will do everything I can to make sure that we repeal this law, to make sure that we make any types of reforms we can to this law to ensure that people have choice, that they can keep their...
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I appreciate the gentlewoman's arguments that she makes on the floor. But the facts of the case are the facts of the case. Obamacare took $716 billion out of senior care, Medicare, to fund Obamacare. And secondly, since Obamacare was passed, there have been 7 part-time jobs added for every one new full-time job added. We cannot pay for this bill. It is non-sustaining, and it's harming America and its future. And that's why Republicans are here gathering in strength and in numbers with resolve again today. I reserve my time.
What's going on, YouTube? So listen, today I come to you with a little bit of positive information regarding some state legislative laws that have been enacted as a result of the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. We're going to start with telling you what states have passed these laws and in the form that they passed them. And then it is up to you to defy implementing and complying with Obamacare. It is also up to you to contact your state legislators and ask them why Obamacare is still being forced on you when your state has voted it either as a constitutional amendment, a state law, or they have enacted some other form of health care provisions to keep Obamacare from ruining their economies. The states go as follows. Now listen up close. We've got Ohio. The state of Ohio passed what was called a constitutional amendment. The constitutional amendment includes that there is no individual mandate, no employer mandate, and there shall be no fines or penalties occurred through the refusal to comply with the president's health care law. The state of Alabama passed a constitutional amendment. They say no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines and penalties can be incurred upon refusal to comply with the president's health care law. Arizona State passed a state law, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines and or penalties. They also coincidentally passed a constitutional amendment, so they have a little bit more leverage on it. The state of Georgia, state law, no individual mandate, no employee mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties incurred. Also, the state of Georgia has joined with 6 other states in a interstate health compact law. Now, I don't know what an interstate health compact law is, but what it basically consists of is the legislators of them states have gotten together with each other, and they've told Obama that they will deal with health care in their own states, to leave them alone. We've got the state of Idaho. They passed a state law, no individual mandate, no employee mandate, no employer mandate, no fines and or penalties to be incurred. Indiana, state law, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties to be incurred. They also passed the interstate health compact law. Kansas, state law, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties to be incurred. Louisiana, state law, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties to be incurred upon refusal to comply with the new Affordable Care Act. Missouri, state law, bar on implementation of ACA or exchanges, interstate health compact law voted on by the people at state election. No state mandate, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines and no penalties. So the state of Missouri, in essence, has covered all 4 routes of nullifying Obamacare. The state law is separate from the bar on the implementation of the exchanges. International Health Compact law was and the constitutional amendment that was voted on by the people at state elections. The state of Montana, again, they has a law barring the implementation of the ACA. They voted on it on a ballot, and there is a constitutional amendment that calls for no individual mandate or fines or employer mandate. The state of New Hampshire, state law bars implementation of the ACA and the exchanges. Also, a state law, no individual mandate or no employer mandate, no fines and penalties to be incurred. North Carolina, they passed a state law, and it's a bar on the implementing of the ACA and the exchanges. North Dakota, they passed a state law, no individual mandate or fines. Also, no employer mandate and no fines or penalties to be incurred. Oklahoma, constitutional amendment, International Health Compact law. Both state that there will be no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties to be incurred upon refusal to comply with the president's health care law. State of South Carolina, state law, interstate health compact law. Both state there will be no individual mandate or employer mandate, and there will be no fines or penalties to be incurred. Tennessee, state law states there will be no individual mandate enforced, there will be no fines or penalties or no employer mandate to be enforced or incurred. Keeps going, keep going. State of Texas has passed the Interstate Health Compact law. Says no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines, and no penalties to be incurred. State of Utah, they have a bar on the implementation of the ACA, Interstate Health Compact law, no individual mandate or fines to be incurred. The state of Virginia passed a state law, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines to be incurred. The state of Wyoming passed a constitutional amendment. They passed a bar on the implementation of the ACA. They had the constitutional amendment voted on by electors, and it's a state law, so they've covered all bases as well. The constitutional amendment, no individual mandate, no employer mandate, no fines or penalties to be incurred, as well as, like I said, it is a bar on the implementation of it. It was voted by the electors in that state, and every one of these states has coincidentally passed it into law. So by them putting Obamacare up on the exchanges, they're only lying to you. But because it's on paper, it's already documented, it is your job to call your legislators and ask them about these laws. Otherwise, you're going to be forced to buy something that you really don't have to buy, because your state has fully enacted the 10th Amendment rights for the people that have opposed Obamacare, and now it's your duty to claim your 10th Amendment right, which, for those of you that don't know the 10th Amendment, it says the powers not delegated to the federal government nor prohibited to it thereof are reserved to the states or the people respectively. Meaning, if they step out of boundaries, we can nullify. We have the ability to nullify. 20 states have done something in regards to nullification of Obamacare. It doesn't matter how symbolic they meant for it to be, by the fact that it's on state law, and especially where it's a constitutional amendment that they've added to their state constitution, we are protected. It is your job to know your rights. Now, I suggest for those 20 states that I just mentioned, you get out there and you tell your friends, you tell your colleagues, you tell your elected officials that Obamacare is nullified effectively in your state. Okay? I'm going to give you the list one more time, but I'm going to give you the short order of the list. This way, you can quote to them that it's a state law or a constitutional amendment or both, thereby being very effective in fighting for your right to privacy and health care. Again, Ohio Constitutional Amendment. Alabama passed a constitutional amendment. Arizona passed a state law. Georgia passed a state law, and they've joined the Interstate Health Compact law. Idaho passed a state law, no individual mandate. Indiana passed a state law, and they joined the Interstate Health Compact law. Kansas passed a state law. Louisiana passed a state law. Missouri passed a state law. They barred the implementation of the ACA exchanges. They joined the Interstate Health Compact law, and they voted on a constitutional amendment by their state, so therefore it is very effectively nullified. Montana, they passed a state law, they barred the implementation of the ACA, and they voted on it in the state on a ballot, which makes it a constitutional amendment. New Hampshire, state law, bars implementation of it. North Carolina, bar of implementation of ACA. North Dakota, state law. Oklahoma, constitutional amendment, and they joined an Interstate Health Compact law. South Carolina, state law, Interstate Health Compact law. Tennessee, state law. Texas, Interstate Health Compact law. Utah, bar and implementation of ACA, Interstate Health Compact law. Virginia, state law. Wyoming, constitutional amendment, bar and implementation, voted on by the electors. There you have it, 20 states. Now you contact your elected representatives and you tell them that you know by now you don't have to comply with Obamacare, and it's their duty to make sure that you don't have to comply with it. If they choose to make you comply, well then again, I would suggest getting out with your truckers and supporting your truckers on October 11th through the 13th. Because right now this shutdown is taking it too far. I mean, come on. They've actually blocked off and covered up the faces on Mount Rushmore, and they've barricaded the gates at the National Monument for the World War II veterans more so than it was when it first closed, and they're making it more and more difficult. They will not vote on the Veterans Administration bill. They won't vote on funding to help out poor families that are on WIC checks, and it's kind of ridiculous. But yet, the people that were furloughed get slide back pays, they get kickbacks for being off for a week. We had to keep going to work. I suggest you contact your elected officials, or if they won't listen, then stop going to work, man. Break the back of this economy before they break us. So what's it going to be, America? Are we going to reclaim our freedom, or is this going to be the new norm? Are we going to support our Constitution and get behind the truckers' strike on October 11th through the 13th? Or are we going to accept this tyrannical takeover and the government overhaul and control of our healthcare system? It's up to you. But I, however, will be standing in support with my truckers. Either you can support them in solidarity, or you can join them in D.C. Either way you would like to have it, please support your truckers as they will be supporting you.